The BMW 1 Series is a compact premium family hatchback, and it's looking to take on the likes of the Audi A3 and the Mercedes A-Class. It's very unique in this class as it's the only one which has rear-wheel drive, and that's been the case since it first went on sale in 2004. But now models are available with four-wheel drive. The different packaging means it's not the most practical or spacious hatchback, and as a premium car, the list price are high, but it allows BMW to use its wide range of engines, so there's a 1 Series for most purposes. There's a wide selection of engines available for the 1 Series, but economy hunters will want to go for the 116D ED Plus. It's the entry-level diesel to the lineup, and it's powered by a 1.5 litre unit, and it has long gearing, which helps keep running costs down. Other diesels include the standard 116D, which has the same engine but different gearing, and the 118D, the 120D and the 125D, which all use versions of the same 2 litre diesel. The 125D is particularly flexible through the gears, but the cheaper 120D is just as satisfying. Now, there aren't any true specialist low-emission petrol engine cars in the lineup, but the range does start with the 118i, which gets a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder unit. The 1.6 litre turbo in the 120i petrol is flexible and rivals many hot hatches for pace. The 2 litre turbocharged 125i is pretty rapid, if not as smooth as some high-powered 4-cylinder rivals. Finally, the M135i totes a 3 litre 6-cylinder turbocharged motor that is a joy to use, whether in manual or 8-speed automatic guise. Crucially, the majority of 1 Series emit very low levels of CO2, which makes them an attractive proposition for company car drivers, and after all, they account for a huge proportion of sales. Our true MPG real-world economy test found that most models return close to or above 50 miles per gallon in normal driving. The 116D ED Plus is the most efficient and managed 55.4 mpg. Obviously, more sporty variants are exempt from this. Unlike some premium hatches, the 1 Series rides with real sophistication. On smaller alloy wheels, it will take bumps, crests and potholes in its stride, especially at low speeds. Motorway drives are also fairly cosseting, and even expansion joints will only send a small thud into the cabin. Only the Volkswagen Golf rides with the same suppleness in this class. The 1 Series is sharper to drive than many of its peers, with neutral, balanced handling and decent levels of grip. The one thing that we would say though is the high tyre walls on the 116D do tend to make the front end feel just that little bit vague. Part of this agility is down to the steering, which is very quick. However, it's also overly light, which can be a little disconcerting when you're driving at speed. At low speeds, you can hear the suspension thudding away as it soaks up lumps and bumps in the road. But the cabin is well insulated from road noise. That is providing you avoid the smaller alloy wheels. The driver's seat is mounted nice and low, so even taller drivers have plenty of headroom, and even the standard seats have a reasonable amount of adjustment to them. Having said that, getting comfy behind here is pretty difficult. The seat adjustment for the backrest and height is a little clunky and awkward to use. The pedals are slightly offset to the right, and if you want adjustable lumbar support, that'll cost you extra on most models. Now, the center console is slightly tilted towards the driver, making the minimal array of buttons easier to reach. Plus, the iDrive controller, which is one of the most intuitive systems out there on the market, is down here next to the gear lever where your hand naturally rests. Every car in the 1 Series range has a standard 6.5-inch colour screen mounted on the top of the center console. Bluetooth and audio streaming, a single CD player, a DAB digital radio, multifunction steering wheel and USB connection are also standard across the range. Now, visibility out of the front is excellent, and although the bonnet does drop away, it's easy enough to judge where the front wheels are when you're threading through traffic. A small rear window and relatively thick pillars mean that the over-the-shoulder view is a bit restricted though, particularly when joining the motorway. Parking sensors and a reversing camera are both on the options list and are reasonably priced. Fit and finish in the 1 Series is well above average, although there are a few bits of trim like the door pockets in the glove box that just do feel a little bit hard and scratchy. There's a nice mixture of brushed metal and gloss black surfaces in higher spec cars, but they can also be fitted as options on entry-level models. All the major controls are solidly built and robust, although the indicator stalks and stereo controls are made from harder, flimsier plastics. The 360-litre boot is marginally smaller than many of its rivals, and it's also quite narrow as well, so you may struggle getting things like golf clubs or buggies in the back easily. Having said that, there is a low load lip, so you can get heavier items in really easily. Plus you can fold down the rear seats to give a totally flat, uninterrupted load bay. There's the option of a ski hatch which splits the rear seats 40-20-40, but there are no clever tricks like sliding or reclining seats and no variable height boot floor. The BMW 1 Series is one of the best small family cars around. It's hugely desirable, great fun to drive and surprisingly cheap to run. And while the interior may not be as big as some of its rivals, its infotainment system is one of the best around. With a choice of either 3 or 5 doors and engines ranging from the frugal 1.16D to the no-holds-barred hot hatch in the M135i, it's certainly worth considering. For more information, search for the BMW 1 Series on whatcar.com, and to stay up to date with all our video road tests, click subscribe.